The theme for this week's show is harvest. And we're starting with a solution to a problem.
We're coming to you from a backyard, possibly just like yours. If you've got fruit trees and you have an abundance of fruit, what happens to it?
Life Cycles is a Victoria-based organization which aims to better connect people with their food. They run a number of local initiatives, but today I'm here to learn about their fruit tree project.
The Fruit Tree Project, it's our biggest project and our best known project. So the way it works is we sign people up to have their fruit trees picked, and we have a big team of volunteers, about 150 people, who go out each year, harvest fruit from people's backyards, and then redistribute that abundance in the community.
That's tremendous. So how many yards or how many gardens do you participate with?
So each year we get about 250 to 350 homeowners registering their trees with us. Last year was a really abundant year, so we had about 600 people who registered their trees.
Wow. And
we have capacity to get out right now to about 350, maybe 300 yards.
That's incredible.
And yeah, about 600 trees.
So what does that translate into as regards to actual food?
So it depends on the season. Last season, like I said, was such an abundant year. We harvested just over 60,000 pounds of fruit.
Wow.
And this year we're on track to do probably about 40,000 pounds.
That's a lot of fruit. And it's amazing that it all comes from Victoria backyards.
It's amazing how much fruit there is in this part of the world. The capital region is really a very abundant place. It used to be one of the primary fruit producing regions for a lot of the British Empire, actually. Right. And there was really a ton of apple and pear production that happened here. And we still see a lot of backyards have remnants, old trees that, you know, used to be a part of this really big fruit producing region. And we still have capacity to produce a lot of fruit here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that 60,000 pounds of fruit is fruit that potentially could have fallen to the ground and rotted in place, couldn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it is that kind of fruit. So we get people who register with us who, for one reason or another, can't get up to pick their trees. Either they're really big, they don't have the equipment, or they don't have the energy or time to go. And so without our project, a lot of that fruit just falls, goes to waste, becomes really a nuisance for people.
Right.
So we're rescuing it from the compost and from getting eaten by wasps.
Having rescued all that fruit, how is it shared out?
So we share our fruit sort of four ways. A quarter of the fruit goes to the volunteers who pick it to thank them for all of their energy. Up to a quarter goes to the homeowner, and usually homeowners take less than that, maybe 5 or 10%. Another quarter we use to make value-added products for the project. So we make a hard cider with spinnakers and a number of other products to help raise revenue. And then the remainder of the fruit, which generally is more like 40%, it goes to community projects. So we give a lot to different food banks across town, to community centers, to schools, about 40 different community agencies.
That's fantastic. So as you say, you're actually putting freshly, locally grown fruit in the hands of people locally that can best benefit from it.
That's right, yeah. And we use sort of the fruit that you wouldn't want to be eating fresh out of hand, the wormy stuff, the scabby stuff, to make the value-added product. So that 25% that we take for the project is 25% that really needs to be processed to be able to be used. So
this is a project where it seems everyone benefits. The homeowners get their fruit picked, and they get to keep a share of it. Local community organizations like the Mustard Seed Food Bank get fresh fruit to distribute, and some of it ends up at Spinnaker's local brew pub.
This is our backyard blend apple cider. This one was released actually last year, and it is created with apples from the Fruit Tree Project and Life Cycles. It is completely unique. We actually don't know what's in it.
The best dishes usually are. Yeah.
And what's so much fun, every year, every pick, you know, every experience with your apples is completely different.
Yeah, every batch is a different adventure with the backyard blend. So it's pretty cool to be able to taste it year after year and see the differences.
After all that has been said,
it's
probably appropriate that we taste this complexity
we can
you speak of.
Yeah, we have to try it.
Yes, absolutely. I'd be curious to find out what you guys think of the flavor, because honestly, well, I don't want to suggest anything, but everybody gets something a little bit different off it.
I know this year it's a particularly dry cider that was done, and next year we might try to sweeten it up just a little bit.
Well, I propose a toast to the fruits of the harvest of this season.
Cheers.
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 to me, what comes out is almost a rhubarbiness. It's that sweet tartness.
Totally.
Like apricots, like somehow stone fruit. It's delicious.
One of the great joys of harvest time is getting to eat food at its freshest. And one of the ways we can all do that is to get out into the fields and pick it ourselves. I'm at Soda Creek U-Pick Corn, just north of Williams Lake in central BC, to meet Linda Kaufman.
Hello.
Welcome to Soda Creek.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Steve.
Leanne.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
How
meet
are you
you.
doing?
Wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful today.
This is just a wonderful spot, isn't it? It really is.
The Fraser River is right over there.
Okay.
So this is about 40, 50 acres, south-facing, fantastic growing condition. We have temperatures like the Okanagan here.
Right.
It's a microclimate,
Okay.
and we do more farming than probably anywhere in the Cariboo.
It's like somebody planned it that way, isn't it? Now, I heard a little rumor that this particular road we're standing on has got some significance.
Yes, this is the original early 1800s Caribou Road, the Caribou Road.
So this, when we were talking gold rush, this is
Gold
Yeah.
Rush time.
way
So
people
this
came.
is where the Carters would have taken, this ranch was owned by Peter Dunleavy,
okay.
lot 1, lot 2, and he
As in the first and the second.
first and the second lots taken out in the Lillooet Land District,
Right.
1859,
Okay.
and he grew. He made his millions here rather than going to the gold fields.
Right.
Stopping here to farm instead of chasing the gold rush was clearly a smart move. The farm is mainly a cattle ranch, but each year at corn season, it turns into a mecca for corn lovers.
We're into 4th generation pickers. Some people come, they bring a camp stove, a pot, water, butter, salt, and they just hang out in the field. Come and teach the kids that potatoes grow underground. Come
yeah.
teach the kids that beans grow on low-growing plants.
They started the U-Pick Corn back in 1982, and it is now a well-organized operation, with the fields set up so pickers can just drive through. The Pick Your Own has expanded to include loads of other crops, including broccoli, cauliflower, eggplant, carrots, peas, and pickling cucumbers. But for most customers, it's all about the corn. Leanne leads us into the field, looking for some corn that's ready to pick.
Okay, you ready for your crash course? in corn
Absolutely.
picking?
Absolutely.
This is normally what I look for first, is those dark hairs.
Okay.
Once you find those dark hairs, I kind of give the top of the corn a little feel. And if it's not TPing in your finger, if it's feeling full,
Right.
then
Yeah.
I'd give it a little sneak peek and see if it's something that
I'm
you're...
just gonna peel back, touch,
Yeah.
and have a look. I don't know. That looks pretty spectacular. Look at that.
A good contrast is this little cob right here. You can see that his hairs aren't quite as dark. And he just doesn't fill your hand as well as that cob over there.
So it's kind of the hair is the opposite to humans. So it
Yes.
starts off light and it gets darker as it gets
Exactly.
older. But at the same time, as humans, it starts off nice and thin and svelte, and then as it grows, it fills out.
We like our corn fat.
And we like to tighten its clothes.
Here, this one's for you.
We're just pulling this back. It's such a satisfying sound, isn't it? When
Yeah.
corn comes back, it's kind of got that, just like
Here it
an apple.
comes. First bite of Soda Creek sweet corn.
God, that's good.
Linda?
Thank you.
It really is sugary sweet. There is no doubt that the sweet corn title is absolutely 100% accurate.
With some corn picked right off the stalk, we head back to the farm to get shucking.
Shall I challenge you guys to a duel? Who can shuck the most corn?
Okay, so we're gonna have it right now. I don't know if this is fair.
I know.
Okay, but I've struck some corn.
Okay.
I feel a little confidence.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
They didn't realize they were up against a shucking master.
Oh my gosh! You're hired. You're hired. You're hired. This is my get rid of the hairs technique.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he wins.
He does.
That was not staged at all. Oh my gosh! I had no.
With all the corn shucked, it's time to cook it. Almost everyone has their favorite way to cook corn, and Linda is no exception.
Some people boil,
Right.
but we steam. So we don't put more than maybe 1.5 inches of water. You get the water boiling.
Yep.
Pack the pot, lid on, and
Yep.
wait for that steam to come back up to a boil.
Yep.
11 minutes. You can't overcook it. So you've got 11 minutes, you throw together a salad, you've got enough time to set the table, flip the steaks, turn it off, and it's fine. The other thing that we do that's a little bit different is out of the pot it goes, under cold water.
Right. Just to take that surface heat off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Linda likes to steam her corn, but I have my own favorite method.
I'm fundamentally a lazy cook. I notice you've got a microwave up top
Yes.
here. Just drop it. Now, of course, this doesn't work for large volumes of corn. Is that 3 minutes?
3 minutes?
Perfect. 3 minutes on there. And 2, 1. So this comes out, and you can actually feel.
Oh yeah.
It's like the husk's not terribly hot,
no.
because of course it's not
It's
really.
layered,
And if
it's
you start to
insulated.
unfold it, look how much steam is coming out of there. And then to get that out of there, you got to just make sure you catch the bottom layer. And just grab it by the hair.
Aye. Beauty.
There we go. And there's your corn.
Wow.
However you cook it, the end result is simply delicious.
Well, Linda,
Bon appetit.
corn appetit.
Perfect.
You know what? I have to say, that's perfectly cooked corn. I would venture a guess that you've done this once or twice before.
We traditionally celebrate the end of the harvest with Thanksgiving, and for many of us, that means turkey. I'm visiting Dan and Jean Ireland at Ireland Farms on the Saanich Peninsula to find out how they raised their turkeys for our tables.
Well, how many birds makes up your flock?
We'll be shipping about 1,600 birds this year.
So what's a life cycle for a turkey? How long does it take for you to get them from egg to?
4 months. We do
Christmas, or-
2 batches for Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Okay.
and therefore we just go back from December 25th, 4 months.
Okay.
And Thanksgiving, go back 4 months. So we know what day to get the chicks.
When the chicks first arrive, they have to be kept indoors to keep them warm.
They have to be feathered before they go. They start off at 95 degrees Fahrenheit
Oh,
in
wow.
a brooder,
Okay. Yeah.
and every week it declines by 5 degrees a week.
Okay.
So once you're at the temperature of the ambient temperature outside,
Yep.
they're able to be introduced to the environment. Unless we have inclement weather where it rains and it's really difficult, we allow them, we feed in the barn.
Okay.
So they come back to the barn, they're used to the barn, so they are intelligent, unlike a lot of people think turkeys aren't.
Right.
They will come back in, they know where their feed source and they know where it's dry.
Okay. Now you describe these as, am I correct in saying, natural free range
Correct.
birds? So what does that mean?
Ours are outside, free range, they walk around. Poultries are omnivores, they eat bugs and worms, they eat the grass, and we really believe that's what gives the difference in flavor to the product. Where certified organic can be birds nowadays are raised totally in confinement, like commercial flocks, but they're fed the certified organic feed.
So the certified organic is referencing just the feed stuff
That's
rather
correct.
than the actual, the environment the birds are raised
The
in.
production method.
And we have no antibiotics or hormones in our feed. We're very careful right from
As
day one.
certified organic doesn't
does the same. We do
either.
the same as that.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
There are some very good reasons to raise free-range poultry, as Dan explains.
Large-scale operations are in confinement.
Right.
So if you can imagine 5,000 of us standing in the Victoria Conference Center
Yeah.
for a few hours. Try living together that way all your life. You're going to break with a respiratory disease, something else that the other person's got, da-da-da-da.
One person has it, everybody's going to get
Then
it.
you're going to be on antibiotics to get over it. That's the big dilemma of confinement and all the health issues that come out of it. What we do is we get our birds out aside as fast as they can because we're out here and it's a beautiful sunny day and that. The sun is one of the best sterilants that there is, and it will sterilize a lot of, we raise sheep and beef and hogs as well, and they typically have parasites in that, but when it's outside, the air acts as a desiccant, and the heat and the UV, and it helps them avoid that kind of situation.
Right. So what about the birds themselves? I mean, what kind? They're obviously very chatty. We can hear them bubbling away in the background here. What kind of animals are they to work with?
Well, they're very chatty, as you can hear. And those are all females out there.
Okay.
We actually raise mostly hens. The market today is, we don't have big families anymore, so most people only want a 20-pound, 15 to 20-pound turkey.
So how big would a male go to? If is that the reason why you don't grow the males?
Yeah, the males are finished off at about 30 pounds dressed. But they are really fun birds. Like the very beginning, they're very finicky to raise. But as they get older, they get more socially active. They love to fly around. And so once we let them outside, they are just so happy to be outdoors because they get to run down the hills, open their wings and everything. So we really enjoy them.
Right.
You know.
But they don't actually fly. I mean, right?
They cannot actually fly off the ground,
Right.
but they use their wings to, like, say, run down the hill and pretend they're taking off like an airplane.
So they're like little kids, really.
So
aren't
maybe they get 6 inches off the ground. That's about it.
I was
Yeah.
just wondering if they could possibly get over the fence.
No,
but I guess
they can fly to the top
Actually,
of that
they
fence.
actually sit on our rails and roost at night.
They will roost
really?
on the rails.
Yeah.
And what we don't, they can't fly, but they sure can taxi. Okay?
Dan and Jean have chosen to raise free-range animals, but they didn't always farm this way.
I work for a very large food company raising animals in the hundreds of thousands. Right. And we learned about mass production of animals, the use of growth promotants, hormones, everything else. But when we moved back to the island where I was born here, we decided we want to raise our own food and raise it the way I had always done and my grandfather and grandparents had done. So we knew it was good for our kids, and that's why we chose to do it this way. And what happened was we started just raising for ourselves, and people come for dinner and they really loved it and loved it and wanted to know if we could raise it for them. So we did, and one thing went to another, and all of a sudden and we were a little bit ahead of the curve where everybody was sourcing the local free-range natural stuff. But you know, it fitted in, so.
Excellent. Now, Tanya, I understand that you're a schnecky expert.
Yes.
So, do you want to show us how you make your schneckis?
I'm at the Little Vienna Bakery in Souk, and Tanya is showing me how they make their cinnamon schneckis, starting with a laminated butter croissant dough. The dough gets folded and put through a laminator several times, each time getting a little thinner until we end up with a large flat sheet.
There we are.
Look at that, and you can see the butter just coming through the layers, but the layers are intact. And again, that's that important piece, isn't it?
Yeah. This is our schnecky filling, which
so
is
so what is in a schnecky filling?
butter, and a little bit more butter.
So we've got butter pastry.
Yes.
Butter in here.
Yes.
Okay, and I can smell cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yes, definitely, and sugar and egg whites.
What could be better? So look at this. We're just going to do that. Oh my goodness, look at that. It just smells fantastic. You can really smell that cinnamon. What do you think?
I think that's great.
I'll get a pass on that?
Definitely.
Excellent.
Okay, now we're rolling.
Okay.
I go this way. I go all the way across.
Okay, so fairly tight?
Tight at first.
Yeah. And then, as you say, not kind of relax a little bit, so it's not so.
Definitely.
Oh, look at this. No, we're really talking precision, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, 28, so you're going to get 4 out of each of those.
Yeah.
Okay. The dough just feels beautiful.
Isn't it?
It's soft.
And when you look at the
you can
ring,
see
you
the
all
layers in each of those.
Take one and we tuck the tail under.
Okay.
Keep it tidy.
And just sort of push it under like so.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And then presumably you got to give them some space because they're gonna.
Yeah.
They're gonna expand.
This is your mixtures, like a strudel topping.
Okay.
Your butter, sugar, and a little bit of flour.
Okay, so we're gonna get that nice little crunch on the surface.
The Little Vienna Bakery is a traditional European bakery cafe in Souk and serves a mouth-watering range of cakes, pastries, and breads.
Here I am with Susan Knights, owner of the Little Vienna Bakery here in Souk. Susan, thank you so much for inviting us in today.
It's our pleasure.
I love bakeries, I have to say. I love bakeries. Right next to cheese, bread is those two life-giving foodstuffs that you can't do without.
We totally agree.
So, when one thinks of Souk, a traditional artisan Viennese bakery is not the first thing that comes to mind. Where did this come from? How did you end up here?
This actually was founded by Michelle and Andreas Rudkowicz back in 2003. Okay. So a traditional couple from Austria, and they had this vision to open their own little pastry and bread shop here in Souk. I guess it was a goal to live on the West Coast. and just share their knowledge of their craft.
Wonderful.
Here in Souk.
So as an artisan bakery, what do you do that is different from large-scale commercial type operations?
Well, really it comes down to the ingredients that we choose.
Right.
As much as we can, we source organic goods, non-GMO products.
Right.
It's all done by hand is the main thing, outside of a few pieces of equipment that help speed up our process.
Right.
Beauty of the product, I guess, is what we call truly artisanal.
Right. What do we have here?
Well, we've got a variety of our organic baked breads.
Okay.
We very much believe in using sourdough starters in
Okay.
our products because we feel that there's a lot of health benefits to fermented goods.
Yeah.
So what we have is our organic country sourdough right
this one
here.
here? Okay.
Yes. Beyond that, we've got another starter that we have is a dark rye sourdough. And so this here is our dark rye sourdough multigrain with sesame seeds.
That's a beautiful looking loaf
Isn't
of
that
bread.
stunning?
You could see all the different grains and the richness of the rye in there. It really does look fantastic.
It's delicious.
Back in the kitchen, the schneckies are ready.
It really does look spectacular. So can I? Now you brought a knife, but I was.
But if you wanted to go tear it
I was
open,
going to
there you
say
go.
that's sort of. I think the traditional way must be
Yes.
the tear, mustn't it? So would you join me in a
Sure.
join me in a schnecki? Here we go. I'll give you that piece, and we could do a little schnecki, a toast to the schnecki. Tanya, thank you so much.
Thank you
This
for
is
coming.
wonderful.
Enjoy.
Oh, I love butter. Oh, I love butter. The more butter in the cinnamon, and it's very soft. It's very delicate, the cinnamon, but schnecki topping is nice and crisp and crunchy. Oh, all I can say,
Definitely our
Tanya,
bestseller.
is keep up schneckiing.
Thank you, I will.
For more great recipes, ask for the Flavors of the West Coast cookbook in your local bookstore